87% of all Volvo buyers are college educated. The other 13% are just plain smart. Volvo is a brand that sets themselves apart from everyone else. They are known for their reliability and safety. But this is not a marketing strategy, it's a philosophy that's ingrained in every single vehicle. A company that has saved over 1 million lives and has their technology in each and every vehicle we see today. We are here to tell you the story of Volvo. Before you sit back and enjoy, make sure to hit that subscribe button. On the 14th of April 1927, Volvo released their first ever production car, the OV4, nicknamed Jacob, and it bore the iconic Iron Mark logo. But how did it get there? This wouldn't have happened if two friends, Assar Gabrielsson and Gustav Larsson, didn't come across each other in a restaurant in Stockholm. Who exactly were these people? Assar Thorvald Nathaniel Gabrielsson was born on the 13th of August 1891 in Korsberga, Skaraborg County, Sweden. He graduated from Stockholm School of Economics in 1911 and got himself a job in the sales department of the bearing manufacturer SKF. His skill and reputation was able to steer him through the ranks as he became the sales manager for the entire SKF company group on the 20th of June 1922. On the other hand, Erik Gustaf Larsson was born on the 8th of July 1887. From the Royal Institute of Technology in Stockholm, he graduated as a Master of Science in Mechanical Engineering. Gustafsson, too, had worked for SKF in a short stint from 1917 to 1919 before he worked for AB Galco in Stockholm. But the story of Volvo doesn't actually begin there. It began on the 10th of December 1876, which marked the birth of Sven Gustaf Wingquist. He was employed at the Gammelstadens textile industry to find a solution to the frequent breakdowns in the ball bearings. Later in 1907, Sven Wingquist gathered the support of Gammelstadens textile industry and founded Svenska Kullagerfabriken, or SKF for short. The SKF focused on manufacturing bearings for various industries. Are you guys wondering how Sven and SKF come into the play here? In 1915, SKF decided to register a subsidiary called Volvo. The name Volvo comes from the Latin word volvere, which means I roll. The reason for the creation of such a subsidiary was to introduce their bearings to the American market, most likely for automobile uses. Scania was the leading vehicle manufacturer for Sweden. Most of the American and European car manufacturers did not produce cars that were well suited for Sweden's rough and muddy terrains. Due to the demands of the First World War, Scania shifted their focus towards trucks. Even after the war, most of their focus remained on manufacturing trucks. This meant that there was a huge gap to be filled. Assar Gabrielsson wanted to start an automobile manufacturing business within the SKF. Assar felt that the SKF's bearing manufacturing capabilities would give them an advantage over their competitors. However, his idea was turned down by the board of SKF. But Assar did not give up. He decided to take things into his own hands. He decided to finance and present 10 cars to the SKF with the hopes that they would approve his plan. In 1924, Assar came across his old friend Gustaf Larsson in a restaurant in Stockholm. Both of them had a deep passion for cars. Assar talked to Gustaf about his plans to start a car company in Sweden. Gustaf was just as excited as Assar was. They agreed to work together on this project. Assar had the vision, the contacts, and the funding to make this happen, but lacked the technical knowledge. Gustaf, on the other hand, lacked the funding, yet had the technical knowledge to make this happen. It was as if destiny put these two together. Even though Gustaf and Assar would work on this project, the both of them kept their jobs at AB Galco and SKF respectively. A design office, which is dubbed Volvo's first design office, was set up in Gustaf Larsson's private apartment at Randmangstan 59 in Stockholm, and just under 2 years, the first prototype car was ready. The duo rode this new car and presented it to the SKF board. And needless to say, they were very impressed. SKF chose their subsidiary company Volvo AB for this project, and on the 12th of August 1926, SKF signed a contract with Assar. Under the contract, Assar would receive a sum of money and he would hand over the 10 prototype cars, engineering drawings, other relevant papers, and so on. This contract was signed by Bjorn Pritz, the managing director of SKF at the time, who was the very same person who took Assar into the sales department a decade ago. Assar was appointed as president and managing director, and Gustaf Larsson was appointed as the vice president and technical manager at Volvo AB. And on the 14th of April 1927, the first ever Volvo vehicle, the OV4 or the Jacob, rolled out of their newly established factory in Hissingen, Gothenburg. In that very year, about 280 cars were manufactured. Unfortunately, just as the SKF board initially feared, the new company was not much of a success. In fact, the company did not bring any profit for the first few years. SKF had to invest more money than they actually wanted to keep the company running. Volvo decided to produce trucks using the basic chassis components from OV4. The Series 1 debuted in January 1928. Even though it started out on a smaller scale, it turned out to be quite successful. In fact, the profits from the sales of these trucks started to finance the car manufacturing aspect of Volvo, that too for nearly 20 years. The problem was that Volvo's cars were not really popular outside of Sweden, but this did not stop Volvo from producing new cars. In fact, even in the same year that they released the OV4, Volvo released the PV4 and had a 4-cylinder engine. In 1929, Volvo produced their first ever 6-cylinder engine in the Volvo PV651, and this was the beginning of a series that went all the way up to PV659. In 1934, Volvo went on to create their first ever bus called the B1. In 1935, it was decided that the Volvo stock would go public, and on the Stockholm Stock Exchange, most of the shares that SKF held were sold and became an independent company. During the 1940s, Volvo was even involved in producing the Stridsvagn M42 along with AB Landsverk. The Stridsvagn M42 was a medium tank which was in service during the Second World War. The 50,000th Volvo car was delivered on the 50th birthday of Assar in 1941, perfectly timed. While it took Volvo nearly 10 years to produce the first 25,000 cars, the remaining 25,000 were produced in just 4 years. The end of the Second World War opened new opportunities for Volvo. Everyone wanted a new car, one that would give a feeling of safety, one that is reliable on the harsh Swedish roads, and one that looked modern. And Volvo had exactly what the people wanted: the Volvo PV444. The PV444 was an instant success, and the company became a commercial success. The growth of the company and its sales would only grow further. This makes one wonder, was SKF selling the stock of Volvo a bad decision? Well, we can't be sure because SKF continued to focus on bearings and ended up becoming the world's leading bearing manufacturer. Now, back to the story. Volvo continued to thrive in selling both cars and trucks. In 1955, they started exporting their cars to the U.S. market, and within just 2 years, Volvo became the second most imported brand in California. What came next was a revolutionary design, the 3-point safety belt design. This was created by Volvo engineer Nils Bolin and made its debut in the Volvo PV544 in 1959. It is believed that at least 1 million lives were saved by this design. Volvo was generous enough to waive off the patent rights because they felt everyone deserves a safe ride. We see the seatbelt in almost every car that we see today, but there is also something most of us don't see that is present in almost all cars, which is also a result of Volvo's innovations, the lame de sonde. Revealed in 1976, this probe can reduce harmful exhaust emissions by 90%, and almost every petrol engine in the world has one inside them. Assar Gabrielsson passed away on the 28th of May, 1962 at the age of 70, and Eric Larson passed away on the 4th of July, 1968. Both these men worked for Volvo until they met their end. Cars are driven by people. The guiding principle behind everything we make at Volvo, therefore, is and must remain safety. These are the words of the founders of Volvo. The same vision was seen by everyone at Volvo from 1927 till today. In 1976, the U.S. government had declared that the Volvo 240 is the safest car and made it the benchmark for safety. Volvo created a spin-off called the Volvo Car Corporation in 1978. This was sold to Ford in 1999, which later sold the company to Geely. AB Volvo continues to produce and sell trucks, buses, and construction equipment. Needless to say, Volvo is still considered to be the benchmark of safety for cars. The change in ownership did not affect the quality and standards of the Volvo brand. Since the beginning in 1927, the vision and foundation set by their founders could be seen and felt in each and every car. With revolutionary technologies over the years, what do you think their next idea would be? Let us know in the comments below. Click on the like button if you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to be notified when we upload new videos. Thank you so much for watching.